Yo, welcome to 20Twice. Man, it's been a minute, man. I'm glad to be here, man. I'm glad to be here to just, doing this podcast right now, man. Like I always say when I started the podcast show, 20Twice podcast is I appreciate everybody who listened to our show, man. It's a million podcasts out there, and I may be exaggerating with that, but it's a ton of podcasters out there. So I appreciate people that listen to mine. I started this back in June of 2020. It was just something just to get off my chest. I was supposed to have another guy with me, but he stepped out. He didn't really want to do the show, so I didn't think we were going to do a show. But, my friends at work was like, man, just do the show, man. And I was like, man, I wanted to be cool. I wanted to be this. I don't want to waste somebody's time. So just got out there and just finally did the show. We finally put it out there, and over the years we've just been trying to just get better and try to come up with new things, and so now I took some time off and was like, you know what, it's time to get back out there, man, and be consistent, man. That's one thing I say about this show. I try to do the best that I can, but just being consistent is my problem in this thing, and I think it's just life in general. So, but it's all right, man. We'll get it. But like I say, the podcast is out there, man, and even though I took some time off, and we still been getting new listeners, and we still have platforms where people can listen to. So let me name off a couple, man, just a few. You know what I mean? Just a couple, nothing too crazy, just a couple. So, I keep this on me, man, because when I first started, I used to be like freestyling, man. You try to freestyle, like I'm gonna remember this, and nah, that don't work. So I was like, let me give me some notes, man, and so I can have it, so we can, so we can get through this smooth as possible, you know what I mean, without the, I forgot, I'm just trying to think now. So again, for this 20Twice podcast, man, these platforms you can listen to. You can listen to Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Castbox, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Overcast, Pocket Cast, and Radio Public. So we there. You know what I mean. So you can always get the show if you want to listen to it, and people have been listening. And of course, Spotify. Spotify make it easy for you if you really want to get out there and get your word out there. And well, I started with Anchor, but if you really want to get out there and make a podcast, it's so crazy to me how many people you can reach. Just me, like, I don't want to use the basement part, but now, I'm downstairs, doing the podcast. I hate to say the basement because it really ain't the basement, but we down here there trying to get something. I call it the man cave, what I'm saying. But yeah, man, we've been listened to. I never know that when I started the show, I wanted people to listen, but I was just like, all right, man, I'm just gonna get out there and do it. So when it started picking up and people was listening to it, I wouldn't say I was shocked. I was surprised. I really could say I was surprised at it, and to see where it's at now, and to see all the places that are people that have listened to it. And we name out a few, man, just a few. I ain't not the too crazy, just a few of them. You know what I'm saying? Let's say Germany, Canada, Ghana, Russia, Ireland, Singapore. These places has been listened. My podcast has been listened to. I mean, nothing much, nothing crazy. Switzerland, Brazil. You know what I'm saying? Nothing too crazy. And then recently, Tanzania. Yep, Tanzania. Huh? Yeah, Tanzania, man. They listen to it. Tanzania, you know what I mean? Listen to the podcast 20Twice. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm always happy about that. And then we're going to go back, to Reno where we started at. So, Reno, Nevada, you know what I mean? That's where we started this show at, you know what I mean? And then Fresno, California, Fresno, I got family out there. Been out there a while, you know what I'm saying? So they support the show. Of course, Oakland, where I was raised, West Oakland, you know what I mean? Raised, Vallejo, Sacramento, Los Angeles, San Diego. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? And we, hope to add some more people to it. You know what I mean? To add the listeners to the show. You know what I mean? Now I'm going to try to be on it, man. I know I said that last time. I keep saying that, but I'm trying to be on it. You know what I mean? So we can add some more new listeners, man, just to get that real out there, man. It's all about that real. You know what I mean? Other than that, on this podcast, I like to start with a quote. You know what I mean? I always start with quotes. You know what I mean? Nothing too crazy, but, quotes that inspire you to do whatever you think you want to do. Or, you may be feeling down, then you get to hear a quote and you're like, man, okay, that's where I'm at. Quotes are like songs to me. Sometimes, they could say the words and you could be feeling it. And, you could be feeling that song that time. And just like quotes, I think you feel them during the day. So let me just read this quote out for you. Happiness is never found outside of us. It is not found in possessions or wealth. Happiness is always and only found within us. It is a state of mind. Now think about that. We always thinking how happy you would be if you got this, you got that, you get this. But sometimes you could be happy just what you got and just being healthy or whatever you may be going through. You could just be happy with it. Just trying to get through life. It's just a mindset. So let me read that to you again. Happiness is never found outside of us. It is not found in possessions or wealth. Happiness is always and only found within us. It is a state of mind. So, hey, you could find it, man. If you can, you could find it. Well, let's get into it though, man. Let's get into it, man. I'm feeling like I'm holding back a little bit. Let's get into it. It'll make me out a little bit nervous since I've been out for a while. So let's get into it. Let me start by saying, man, back episode 21, I had Father's Day, a couple of Father's Day episodes that I had a couple of guys on to just get their point of view. But if you get a chance, man, and you can listen to this podcast, but if you get a chance, please, 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 I ask of you, check out episode 21. Episode 21 is, to me, very dear to my heart, just because episode 21, my uncle came on and he just told his truth, man, just to tell about his life, his struggles. And, to be exact, my uncle was in a coma for 13 days, man. Crazy. 13 days, And he was revived, man. He was revived, I didn't know when I heard that he was sick and that he probably wasn't gonna make it. Usually when people tell you that, you just start praying for him because you at the end of the day, maybe not you guys, but me, the way I feel when somebody say something happened, I'm like, oh, I'm thinking the worst, and I probably shouldn't do that, but that's what happens, And so I was hoping that my Uncle Kenny be right, but he got better, and I made a call out to him, and we talked, and he was telling me how he felt and how he made it through, and he felt like he was blessed. And I just thought that it would be a good episode to start. And we did the episode, man. It's an hour long. Usually longer than mine. Most of my episodes are like maybe 30 minutes. I just really wanted them to be, left where you could listen to it in your break. And, I didn't want to have it too long. I didn't want to have an hour and 45 minutes. Nothing like that. Nothing too crazy. You know what I mean? But just for like 30 minutes, or just a quick little laugh or joke, or just to listen to some stuff, something like that. So when he came in, but it was like an hour, man, but it was just so real. And some of the stuff that came out in the interview, I didn't even know about my uncle. So I thought it was just great that he was able to open up and just speak, just tell his truth. And like I said, to a man, everybody who listened to this show or listened to that show, they really get into it and they really feel something. But the problem, the thing about it is life, man. We all struggle, and some of us don't know what to do. And, mental health is a big thing, man. It's a huge thing. I think we all let it go like, no big deal. You just got to be strong, suck it up. But, man, it's hard out there, man. Mentally, man, these days, you challenge yourself. Your mind gets challenged, and pulled in different directions. So, for my uncle to come in and just talk about something like this, I thought it was just great. More or less just talking that real. Because if you're going to listen to this podcast, we're going to talk that real, man. We're going to get as real as we possibly can. We're going to be as serious as we probably can. But, I like to joke and stuff. But we're going to be as serious as we possibly can. And he just came on and told his life, man, his struggles with mental health and with drug addiction. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because, I think they both go together. I think people that have mental issues sometimes just go to drugs. It's just kind of like a way that you deal with it. But, like I said, that episode is powerful, man. I think everybody, you get a chance, you should check it out, man. Because it really touched me. And what my thing is that a couple of months after the episode, my uncle passed away. So that hurt a lot. But I was glad that we were able to, put his truth on it, and get it recorded. I thought it was something that needed to be recorded, and it's something that people need to hear. If you're going through something, like my uncle said, get some help. That was his favorite line. Get some help. If you need some help, get some help. Reach out to somebody. Somebody can help you. You're not the only person going through this stuff. So get some help, man. That's what he was saying, and that's what I want to put out in this episode. Get some help. If you're going through some stuff, man, get some help. It sounds easier than it is, but it's just saying you're not the only person going through it, man. Every time you think something happened, you're probably the only person. It's another person that's going through the same thing, and maybe going through it worse. They may have other stuff on top of that one issue that you was dealing with that you thought was just crazy, how you gonna make it through, and somebody else is dealing with it. So, I would say, man, please reach out and get some help, man. Mental health is a big thing, and I think that we do have a mental health awareness month in May, but I think we probably should have it every month. It's something that we don't really talk about, but it's something that we should get into and get that help that we need. So this is a story on me, man. I know you guys probably seen it. This is an escaped Pennsylvania guy, escaped convict from Pennsylvania. And I just thought it was just crazy to me, man. Not the whole thing about it, man. This guy, he's wanted for murder in Brazil, and he killed his ex-girlfriend, stabbed her, and he just got convicted of murder, like in July, and so he escaped from prison, which I thought was kind of crazy to me. Just because, like, you see people escape, and I've heard his story, beforehand, and they say he escaped, and I was like, man, I wonder how to get it, but they didn't say how he got out, and so you was just kind of like, all right, well, he did escape, but how did he get out, And so then they say, oh, we got video how he got out, and I was like, video, like, maybe surveillance cameras or whatever, the prison cameras, and then when I seen the way he got out, I was like, no way. No way. And when you look at the video, he had this guy, he puts his foot on one wall and then puts his hand on the other wall, and then he starts crawling up the wall. And I'm thinking to myself, no way, bro. He didn't get out of there that way. He couldn't have. And they call it a crab walk. Yeah, a crab walk. That's what you call it when you put both of your hands on some cartoon shit, for real. I mean, really is some cartoon shit, for sure. To get your hands on the wall and then put your feet on there and actually climb up the wall. Then make it to the roof. This is the craziest thing to me. And then manage to get out of jail. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, they're going to catch him. Like most of the time, they do catch the prisoners that get out, but it's like, dude, come on, really? This is what you're doing? This is how you got out of jail. And I'm thinking, if you were a guard that day, like, man, bro, like, how did you miss that? Like, what are you doing? Like, this dude stood there for a little while. Then he looked around. He looked around. And then I say, commenced to crawl up the wall. I'm like, bro, this is crazy. And I just thought it was crazy. And then it didn't stop there. They say they couldn't find him. And then when he was gone for a little while, they didn't find him after a couple of days. I'm like, man, this guy, and they were saying, oh, they think that he's trying to get out of town or whatever it was. And I'm just like, no way, dude, this guy can't be doing this. And so this guy escaped from Chester County Prison, a rural area about 30 miles west of Philadelphia on the 31st. And, it was just crazy to me, man. Like I already said that he was wanted for murder and for homicide in Brazil, which is crazy again. The story is sad in general, just because he killed his ex-girlfriend and he stabbed her, but he stabbed her in front of her kids. I mean, the story is just like, man, he should be where he at. Of course, he in there, they got convicted of murder. But the things that tripped me out, the crab walk was one. Like, dude, that's how you got out. Like, man, okay, that's how you can. I don't even know. Like, is that how you get out of jail? Like, what do? You cut through fence or whatever. They say he got away. I'm like, okay, so a crab walk. So the second thing is when they say couldn't find him, then you come out with it, tell me he stole a van. He was spotted in a van. Man, what? He stole a van. So he got out and he stole a van. And I'm like, oh man, this dude is really going out there, man. Then he changed his appearance. I mean, like when they showed him the first time, then the second time they showed him, say he showed up at somebody's house, that a friend's house that he knew years ago, and then he had a shaved face. And I'm like, nah, bro. Like, no way, bro. I mean, and the first thing I thought about when I heard this, I'm like, bro, this is like The Fugitive, one of my favorite movies, The Fugitive and like Rambo all at the same time, without the killing like Rambo. I mean, you already did that, but like I said, like he's out there in the middle of nowhere, and then they gonna say he stole a rifle? Oh my God. Like, how did he get a rifle? Like, this is crazy. I was like, dude, no. Then he got a rifle? I'm like, oh, no, man, no way. And then I'm like, no, they ain't not going to catch this dude. Yeah, catch this dude. I mean, he already stole a van, and then he driving around. Then he then went to a house. He's shaving. I mean, this dude living the regular life. He's living a regular life, and they still can't catch him. I mean, they talking about they got police, sheriffs from different counties looking at them. I'm like, dude, this is crazy to me. This is crazy. And then when he stole a rifle, I'm like, oh my God. And then they caught him. I didn't think they was gonna catch him, man. I really didn't. I thought that was be like one of those things where, you know, if they did catch him, it was gonna be a shootout and they was gonna end up killing him. But then when they say they caught him, then he had braids when they got him. I said, oh my God, what is going on? Like, you know what I mean? He's sitting there, then he had a Philadelphia Eagles sweater on. Talking about he stole that. I said, oh man, this dude doing a lot out here, man. I just thought that was crazy to me, man. I thought it was crazy just for a guy to sit up there and got out of jail and the way he got out of jail. And then they gonna say, oh, the guard that was watching, that's supposed to be watching the video, was on administrative leave. Oh, man, they was no administrative leave. They should have told us already they was firing him. Come on. Come on. It ain't no way, bro. There's no way that you're doing your job at this dude that had killed, that's wanted for murder in Brazil, and then he didn't kill his ex-girlfriend. He didn't stab her about over 30 times. And you mean to tell me you let him crab walk out the prison? Well, technically, crab walked to the roof and then got off. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's crazy. And then now, I'm just saying this, I don't know if they just showing it on the news now, but you seeing everybody escape. Like, man, what is he just escaping people, just escaping from jail? Like, what's going on, man? Like, this is crazy. I just seen the other day, it was a guy escaped from the hospital. Like, man, how did this boy just walk right out the hospital? He's supposed to be, you know, probably serving 30 years for a child molester. They let Mike. Oh my God, man. I'm just glad they caught the guys, man. They have these guys running around the streets, but I just was like thinking to myself that this guy got out for over about 2 weeks. That was just out there. That is crazy to me, man. Crazy. And was able to maneuver, change his clothes, you know what I mean, braid his hair, you know, shave, get a van, they got a gun. Like, dude, come on, this is crazy to me. And the reason they say that they found him is because a helicopter was up at that night and had a heat sensor on, so they knew what area it was. So the next day they took the dogs out there and they got him, which is crazy. It's the craziest story. Like, one of the craziest stories to me, man. Really one of the craziest stories to me, man. I couldn't do it, but I got this other story, man. This is crazy. To me, this is one of the weirdest ones. Not weird, but I thought that it was, I thought that I probably had broke this record. Now, this is a story from around the world. Man drinks a Capri Sun in 8.02 seconds to recapture the world record in a Guinness Book of World Record. Crazy. Now, I'm going to tell you like this. I done drunk some Capri Suns. I'm sure I broke this record already, bro. I ain't trying to give him no credit. Like, I'm trying to take the credit away from him because it's already etched in the Guinness Book of World Records, so I don't want to take nothing from him. But, man, you drunk a Capri Sun, man. Capri Sun, man, like, man, I can't be technical on it, but Capri Sun, like 6 ounces, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Capri Suns, you drunk, like, you got to drink, like, at least 4 or 5 to be like, oh, yeah, man. You know what I mean? You get that Capri Sun, you go, you know what I mean? You go. 8 seconds, I could swear I got that, bro. I could swear I could have made 8 seconds. Man, I should at least try to this record, you know what I mean, for the Guinness Book of World Records. You have no idea. You didn't tell me 8 seconds for a Capri Sun? I drink Capri Sun in like 2 seconds, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Talking about the rules is you got to have both of your hands on the table and then have a Capri Sun. The only thing you could do is grab a straw and squeeze it in. And it'll take you 8 seconds. Now, the previous record was 10.41 seconds from a German man named Andre. 10 seconds, I swear, man, like I said, you guys need to try it, man. Somebody try to tell me if you do, get a Capri Sun, get somebody to time you, and tell me how fast it take you to drink a Capri Sun. Now, don't choke yourself. This guy drank this Capri Sun. Now, you can't choke clearly. You can't choke clearly, but come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Like, I don't know, the man who just broke this record, his name is, I'm going to put this, Fayez Nassa. I think I'm saying this right. But clear, he got the Guinness Book of World Records because this is crazy. This is the craziest story, man. Like I said, if you have a Capri Sun, please, please try this out and see what you come up with, man, because this is crazy to me. I can't believe that the record for a Capri Sun, for drinking a Capri Sun, is 8 seconds. I could have swore I could drink that thing in like 2 seconds or 3 seconds, man. I know it ain't taking me longer than 10 seconds to drink a Capri Sun. But again, I don't have everything. Technically, it must be true, but it seems crazy as hell. I mean, it's like one of those things where you think that, like when I tell people about track, you think, we're going around the track, most people are like, oh man, how fast can you get around? I was like, oh man, back in the day, I probably could get around the thing in 46 seconds to go a whole lap around. They're like, man, 46 seconds, that's crazy, no way. But it's true. I mean, some people get around in 43, you know what I mean? The record is like 43 and 19 or 18 or somewhere around there. I'm not clear on it, but 43 seconds to get around the track. So like, I guess sometimes you can see stuff until somebody put it down and put a clock to it, then you can see. But that is crazy to me, man. I believe that record was broken a long time ago, for real. But anyway, I'll say I like to give you guys like something funny or something crazy that I've seen that I thought was crazy to me. But I think the one thing I like to say, because based on my other shows and what I really want to do in this podcast is do inspiring stuff, have shows on here that inspire you to, do your best, you know what I mean? Or what they call live your best life, you know what I mean? And so we do interviews. I want to do interviews that, we get insight and, and we give you that real. And so, but on the other ones, shows I had like just something like a funny story like that I want to say that happened in my life. They're all true. I explain them the way they go, but they're all true, and I'm telling you the truth. So today, my story today is, basically I could come off the track part. Back in the day, I did a little professional track, a little good, you know what I mean? I was all right, you know what I mean? I was decent, I got the state record, I won state, you know what I mean? So, nothing in college, but nothing crazy, nothing big, you know what I mean? I was okay, you know what I mean? Just a little bit, but we were trying to get to the Olympics, me and my college roommate. And so, one of my old coaches used to call it the Neckbone circuit. The Neckbone circuit, what they mean by Neckbone circuit is like a low budget circuit to get to achieve the time that you want to achieve in track, to get a sponsor. And that's the whole thing. Most of the time you run in to get a sponsor. And some people run for the goals. And of course, you always want to run to be the best you can and try to make the Olympics, make the world team, whatever you can. But at the end of the day, having the sponsor help you to be able to train and still have money coming in while you training, and have sponsorship where you can have clothes and they probably pay for your appearance fees and pay for your trips and stuff like that. So you want to have a sponsor. So, a lot of times these people try to get Nike or Toyota or whatever it may be that's sponsoring people at a time. So you got to get that time. And I think the time is, if you can be like in the top 25 in the world, you can pop that time, then you ranked in the world, and then you can get a contract, and you can start paying for some of the stuff. The entry fees is hard. It's expensive to do it. It's expensive to run track out there just because you got to be there, I mean, logically thinking, you're supposed to get there a day before wherever you're going so you can rest, get you a good dinner, so you can get the optimal performance that you need out of your body. And so, but when you just on this circuit, I mean, you got to work, get off work, and then run, and then try to get a track meet that's coming up. And so we had like a last minute track meet. And so me and my college roommates like, oh man, we're gonna go. We're gonna go. So we went out. We drove. First of all, we drove. I got some new shoes that came in. We drove like 30 minutes away from the house, and then had to drive back because I forgot the shoes. So that was stupid. So then we came back, had to got the shoes. And then we driving out Friday night to meet that Saturday morning at night in Sacramento. We driving out of Fresno. And, we get there, I don't know what time we got there, man. It was crazy. So, we didn't do no reservations. So we just driving around trying to find a hotel, man. We trying to drive around to find a place where we can, a good clean place to stay. But when you ain't got that much money, man, some of that stuff that you ask for, like clean and safe, goes out the window when you're looking for a place with on a budget. The clean and safe goes away. Then it's just like, dude, whatever I could get at my price range. So we found a hotel, man. We go in there. It did look like a Norman Bates hotel, but hey, man, my roommate, he had his dog, so I figured, maybe the dog could do something if we did get into a problem or issue. So like, all right, dude. So we get the room, and I say, dude, we already drove around a couple places and didn't have one. So this one had one. So when I go there, I was like, hey, I want to get a room. And usually when you say somebody want to get a room, they go like, oh, yeah, of course you can get a room. You know what I mean? How long you want to stay? Is this so much a night? Do you want 2 beds? And I was like, yeah, 2 beds. I want to stay. Now he said, oh, do you want to stay a couple of hours? I'm like, oh no, this ain't the right hotel. You don't go nowhere and somebody say, oh, you staying for you staying for a couple of hours. I'm like, oh no, man, this is where I'm from, man. They call this a home motel. Hey man, I gotta stay here, just get through the night, man. Hoping nothing go wrong. And so we get in the room. They got 2 beds. I'm like, all right, it's clean, it's whatever, you know what I mean. So I get down, relax. We ain't been driving for a minute, I sit back on the bed, and while I'm sitting back on the bed, I lean back on the bed, and I'm thinking to myself, man, does something feel wet? Come to find out, man, the bed is wet, man. Get the whole thing like a circle with a puddle, just wet. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, my hand, I'm like, oh my God. So I'm washing my hands, and then I run to the oven, like, dude, my bed wet, you know what I mean? I was like, what can you do? He's like, give me another room or something. He's like, oh, we ain't got no more rooms. I'm like, oh my God, dude. So it was a whole thing, and I'm thinking we finally find a hotel room at 2 in the morning. At 2 in the morning, man. We find a hotel room at 2 in the morning, and we get in there, and it's clean and everything cool. Then I wake up in the morning, and we walking the dog downstairs, and the guy stops me, and I don't even know what he was, the manager or whatever. He stops me, he goes, you guys didn't pay for that dog. I said, dude, man, dude, if you don't get the hell away from me, man. I ain't know nothing about this damn dog. You seen us walking in there with this damn dog, you should have charged us then. I'm like, what are you talking about, dog? I'm like, man, this damn dog. We came with the dog. Yeah, of course we came with the dog, but I didn't know y'all had a thing. Y'all should have said that. Y'all seen us. I was just like, dude, it was just just weird time. Just like, you think you won't go somewhere and you just couldn't really even sleep. Couldn't even sleep. And so it was just one of those things where you just be like, man, life is crazy, man. Life is crazy. But man, we back, man, and I'm gonna get another episode in, man. We will try to do it every week, man. I appreciate everybody to listen to TwentyTwice podcast, man. We got big things coming, and I know I have to say that, but I'm just gonna have to just, show it. Sometimes you can't tell people, you gotta show them, and so that's what we're gonna do, man. We're gonna show the podcast, and this is just a show just to get us back in there. And get our foot, get some ground under our feet, because we've just been dangling, man, like we short. But we ready to get this in. The next time I come up, hopefully we'll have a good guest for you guys. But if not, I'll be here, and I'll have some good news from around the world and something for you guys to laugh. And I'm just glad to be back at this thing, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning into that that podcast, 20 Twice. Appreciate it.